We'd be happy to. You know, the Caltrans didn't do the county of Monterey any favors. The rat slide deal went to a San Luis Obispo company. They just awarded it as emergency work. So
What are you hearing is going to happen on River Road with our washout?
well, here's the deal: is we're cleaning up River Road, but there's apparently there's an area, and I haven't seen it, so you have to bear with me, Matt. But there's an area where a good rain, it's going to wash out again.
Yeah,
And
it's my house.
It's where we're
Steve.
still closed, Matt. No,
Well-
it's the one further down south.
and Matt, I would tell you what's happening on that is that somebody decided that that work had to be put out to bid. And so it's going to be weeks before it even goes out to bid. And I know Pete wants it to rain, but if it rains, you're in trouble.
Well, I'm not calling down the rain god's wrath on anybody, but it would be nice if we got a little rain, perhaps slowly.
Hey, Gail, I guess we have enough. Are we ready?
You can call us to order.
Yes, we have enough.
Wait, I'm waiting on my people. All right. Okay. Call to order the LAFCO, Local Agency Formation Commission of Monterey County, Monday, February 22nd, 2021, 4 p.m. Roll call, please.
Supervisor Alejo,
Here.
Supervisor Wendy
Here.
Askew,
I'm here.
Supervisor Craig, excuse me, Mayor Craig,
I'm here.
Commissioner Gorley,
Present.
Commissioner Leffel,
Here.
Commissioner Lopez,
Here.
Commissioner Oglesby,
Here.
Commissioner Poitras,
Here.
Commissioner Snodgrass,
Here.
Commissioner Stevens,
Here.
and Commissioner Velasquez.
Here.
Everyone is present. We have a quorum.
Thank you so much. If I could, I'll call on Director Lafo to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, if she would, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, we'll go to public comment. Anyone wishing to address the commission may briefly address the commission for any items that are not on the agenda. If you want to comment on items that are on the agenda, please wait till they are called. For the benefit of the recorder, please state your name. Public comment is now open.
Not seen any public comment.
Okay, public comment remains open. We'll give it a few more seconds. Okay, seeing no one, hearing no one for public comment. Public comment is now closed. We're going to special business. We have 3 new directors we want to swear in. I think for efficiency purposes, if it's okay with each one of them, I would like to swear them in all at the same time. That's okay, Mayor Craig?
You bet.
Okay, I asked Mayor Velasquez already, and then Supervisor, is that okay with you? I thank you for the thumbs up. Okay, I would like for you to at least raise your right hand. We'll be swearing in the Mayor Kimberly Craig of the beautiful city of Salinas as a city member. We'll be swearing in the Mayor Ana Velasquez from Soledad, beautiful city of Soledad, as an alternate. We'll be swearing in Supervisor Wendy Eskew from District 4, a wonderful District 4, also as an alternate. I would ask each one of you to please raise your right hand. And then after I say, do you, say your name and then repeat after me if you would. Okay, this is the oath of office. Do you state your name, please?
I, Wendy Root Askew.
Hi, Kimberly Craig.
Anna, you're mute, Anna. Well,
Sorry about that. I, Ana Velasquez.
no, that's okay. That's just where the lawyers make sure you guys are signed in properly so we can hold you accountable. All right. Solemnly swear that you will support and defend
I solemnly swear that I will support and defend
defend
the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California
The
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all
Against
enemies,
all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
that I will bear
that I will
true
bear
faith and
true faith
allegiance
and
to the
allegiance to the
Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the
and the
Constitution of
Constitution
the
of the
State of California,
that you take this obligation freely
that I take this
that I take this
obligation
obligation
freely
without any mental reservations
without
without
any
any
mental
mental
reservation
reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of
purpose of
evasion,
and that you will and faithfully discharge the duties upon which you're about to enter.
and that I
and that I will
well
and
and faithfully discharge
the
the
duties
duties
upon which I'm about to enter.
Okay, thank you so much. You're duly sworn in and ready to get to work.
Thank you, Mayor.
And in the interest of full disclosure, I realized my video is reversed, but my right hand was raised. So just so you know.
Okay, all right, that's for the record. Thank you.
Do over, please.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to the consent agenda. 4, approved draft December 7th, 2020, LAFCO regular meeting.
Excuse me,
Aye.
Chair. Do we need a motion for that, for the swearing in? Just that they were all sworn in.
Okay.
I'll make the motion that all three were duly sworn in and acknowledged their duties.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's been properly moved in second. Are there any questions? Taking it out to the public. No public comment, bringing it back. Roll call vote.
Okay, roll call vote. Alejo,
Aye.
Craig,
Yes.
Gorley,
Here.
Leffel,
Yes.
Lopez,
Yes.
Oglesby,
Aye.
and Poitras. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. That passed unanimously. Now we'll go into consent agenda. Item number 4, approved draft minutes from December 7th, 2020. 5, approved register of checks for November, December 2020, and January 2021. 6, accept report for future anticipated agenda items and progress report on LAFCO special studies. 7, accept chair's list of appointment to Budget and Finance Chair Committee for 2021. 8, accept report on activities of the California Association of Local Agency Formations, LAFCO. 9, accept December 31st, 2020 financial statement. That concludes the reading of the consent agenda.
I would move approval.
Second.
I'll second.
It's been properly moved to second. Let's take it out to the public. Any public comment? Seeing none, hearing none, public comment is closed. Roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Commissioner Alejo,
Aye.
Commissioner Craig,
Aye.
Commissioner Gorley,
Yes.
Commissioner Leffel,
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Oglesby,
Aye.
and Commissioner Poitras.
Yes.
Thank you, all ayes.
Okay, thank you so much. We'll go to the new business, item number 10. Consider adoption of emergency action plan and COVID-19 prevention program in compliance with the federal and state laws. Madam Executive Director.
Right. Thank you, Chair Oglesby, members of the commission. This report will be presented today by Jonathan Brinkman, our senior analyst.
Good afternoon, Chair Oglesby and commissioners. Today, this report is about the adoption of an emergency action plan and COVID prevention program. And this is in compliance with federal and state law. After reviewing our administrative policies and procedures, we identified these requirements coming from federal and state law. Since November 30, 2020, Cal OSHA has required a written COVID prevention program as a new temporary state law to prepare agencies, public agencies for COVID. And these administrative policies and procedures have been reviewed by LAFCO General Counsel and Special Counsel Liebert, Cassidy, and Whitmore, along with the Monterey County Office of Emergency Services. So the recommendation today is that the commission would receive this report and receive any public comments, provide for any questions or follow-up discussion by the commission, and then consider and adopt a resolution that finds this is not a project under CEQA, and that would adopt the proposed emergency action plan and COVID-19 prevention program. We're available for any questions.
Any questions from the commissioners? Seeing none, we'll take it out to public comment. Public comment is now open. Seeing no one, hearing no one, public comment is closed. Bring it back to the dais. What is the will of the commission?
I would move adoption of the emergency action plan and COVID-19 prevention program.
I'll second.
And
Poitras.
probably moved in second. Are there any questions? No questions, roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Alejo,
Aye.
Craig,
Aye.
Gorley,
Yes.
Leffel,
Yes.
Lopez,
Aye.
Oglesby,
Aye.
Poitras.
Yes.
Thank you, all ayes.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to a public hearing. 11, continue public hearing from December 7, 2020 to consider the resolution on dissolution of the Fort Ord Reuse Authority. Again, we are reopening the public hearing on that item. We'll receive a report from the executive officer.
Thank you, Chair Oglesby. This report will also be presented by Jonathan.
Just start the screen share. Okay, is everyone seeing a PowerPoint on the screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So today I'm just going to give you a brief presentation on the for dissolution resolution. So according to state law, FOR ended its operations on June 30th, 2020. And FOR is authorizing state statute. The FOR Act was repealed on December 31st, 2020. LAFCO's role, oversight role through the FOR Act was to provide for an orderly dissolution of FORA. So as part of LAFCO's responsibility, the commission scheduled a public hearing on June 22nd, 2020 to consider resolution that was documenting LAFCO's oversight role in FOR dissolution. The hearing was continued at that time because FORA was still considering 2020 transition plan. The hearing subsequent to that was also continued in August, September, and December 2020. And this is due to unresolved matters, which included the county's use of FORA remaining fund balance that the county holds, and payment of FORA's CalPERS termination liability, and FORA related litigation matters. We're now presenting this draft resolution for commission consideration now that these previously unresolved administrative matters appear to be resolved. One FORA related litigation matter remains involving CNPS, Delray Oaks, and LAFCO, who's named as a real party in interest. That's expected to continue through the end of 2021. So in terms of the resolution today, the recommended resolution will document LAFCO's oversight role in accordance with the Authority Act. Part of LAFCO's role is to ensure that all contracts, agreements, and pledges to pay and repay money are honored and properly administered, and ensuring that all FORA assets are properly transferred. The resolution also documents the transfer of FORA's roles and responsibilities to other government agencies. And that includes the County of Monterey's windup of FORA's affairs according to their agreement with FORA. Earlier today, LAFCO staff transmitted a requested correction to the resolution, one of the whereases on page 6. It's the very first full whereas. And the correction, I'll get into the details in a moment. But also as a courtesy, we provided that correction to the cities, former jurisdictions of members of FORA. And we did receive some comments or questions about where this agreement, where these corrections were coming from. And it's pertaining to agreement between FORA and the county. And then also, since we've also received a comment from John Farrow representing Landwatch, who had questions about successors. However, we do not think that changes need to be made to the resolution at this time based on those comments. For administrative tasks, just want to provide an update that the county has received all of FORA's records except for those records pertaining to ESCA and the local redevelopment authority records. Those are held by Seaside. And the payment of FORA's CalPERS liability has been made. So that is completed at this time. The remaining fund balance will be held by the county for any unpaid contractual obligations and late discovered liabilities. And we'll see the details of the language for the correction in a moment. And then the county is overseeing FORA's final audit for fiscal year 2019-20. And LAFCO has funding to oversee the wind-up tasks of the county. So LAFCO received $100,000 from FORA for our oversight, and we have approximately $70,000 left in that account. In terms of litigation status, there was a matter that didn't involve LAFCO, but involved the campus town development and a community group in Seaside. And there's been a judicial decision on that matter. So it does appear to be in favor of Seaside as part of that ruling. And then update on the with FORA related building removal claim that was by Resource Environmental Inc. FORA settled that before June 30, and LAFCO has settled that at the end of September of last year. As mentioned before, the CNPS, Delray Oaks, and LAFCO litigation is expected to continue, and this is expected to continue at least through 2021. And for LAFCO received $500,000 from FORA through an indemnification agreement for litigation matters, and we have over $300,000 left of those funds. So in terms of next steps, LAFCO staff will continue to oversee and monitor completion of the wind-up task by the County of Monterey. We expect to distribute our administrative funds to the 5 jurisdictions by the end of 2021 when those tasks are completed. We expect to hold on to litigation reserve funds until those are no longer needed. We think that will be at least until 2022. And I'll just get into the correction detail on the next slide here. So this was the original wording in the whereas on page 6. And the county wanted to delete the second half of that and add this language, which would refer to the county's agreement with FORA and the transition plan concerning holding on to the funds that are the FORA's remaining fund balance until the obligations and liabilities are resolved, and it would be either distributed when those are all resolved, including the late discovered items, or on or about June 30, 2030, and describes from the agreement that these funds will be distributed 20% to each of the 4 member jurisdictions. So today, the recommendations include to receive a report from the executive officer, reopen the public hearing, continue from December 7th, and receive any public comments, provide for questions or follow-up discussion by the commission, close the public hearing, and consider and adopt a resolution making written commission determinations relating to FORA dissolution. So staff is available for any questions.
Before I want to open it up to questions from the dais, Jonathan, did you receive any other changes from any other entity except the county?
Just the county was the requested change today.
Okay. Are there any other questions from the commission?
Chair Oglesby, if I could.
Yeah,
Can
of
I
course.
just get confirmation on the numbers on the litigation fund? I heard it was initially $500,000 and we spent 40% of that, leaving us with 300,000. Is that correct, Jonathan?
Yes, slightly more than 300,000.
And projecting forward, we still think the 300 will cover it. I know that was a big concern when we set this fund up, so I just want to get your feeling on that.
I think based on the current matter that LAFCO is in, we should be funded for that. And General Counsel's here if she wants to opine further on that.
No, I agree completely. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Kelly Donlin. I would hope that none of that, or very little of that, would be going toward the CMPS litigation. And as far as it continuing through 2021, I'm not sure. I know that CMPS and Delray Oaks are in communications regularly, and LAFCO has been reaching out and offering to help in any way we can, but it's really between those two parties, and it'll depend on what they can agree to, and they're working on various issues that have arisen. So.
Thank you.
Mayor, this is Commissioner Leffel. I've got a couple questions. Jonathan, you said briefly something about Land Watch. Can you say that again and how that involves LAFCO?
Yes. So on Friday, we received a call from John Farrow, who represents Land Watch of Monterey County. His question was regarding deed covenants and who would be a successor to FORA in certain deed covenants. And our general counsel and I actually had a conversation with him today, addressing his questions as much as possible as we could. Essentially, we let him know that LAFCO is not the judge and jury on successor issues. The transition plan gives that guidance. So we don't feel we need to make a change to this resolution. He was primarily looking for information that is when we spoke with him on the phone.
Okay, so I guess I'll address this then to our council. Ms. Donlin, do you believe, based on those questions, there's any threat coming that way?
No, that wasn't the sense I got at all. And again, to the extent LAFCO can assist, specifically, Mr. Farrow was concerned with the quitclaim deed that Fora gave to the county of Monterey. And my first question was, I mean, we need to rope the county of Monterey in on his questions because I personally don't have the history and I don't know specifically the communications that went on. So I would suggest LAFCO can assist with that and find the right people to speak to with the county to address some of his issues. But I think it was just a question that arose and I didn't get a sense of any threat from Mr. Farrow or Landwatch as far as litigation.
Okay, Mayor, if I could continue, I've got a couple more.
Give me a second, Mayor. Jonathan, could you stop sharing, whoever's sharing?
Yes.
I want to be able to see everybody. So go ahead, Marianne.
So in the staff report, it says LAFCO staff will continue to monitor and review completion of post-Fora wind-up tasks. And then as I look down with the timing, I think I saw that we would feel like we would no longer need administrative funds before the end of 2021. But yet litigation and some other things, which I'm assuming staff time is spent on, look like they'll go at least to 2022. So I would feel more comfortable if we matched the funding, that the funding goes all the way till we think we're not going to need any more, and not think that we're going to be able to give back any of that, anything at 2021. As long as this has been dragging on since Forrest started this in 2016 and we're all still dealing with it, I just don't see that anything's going to end anytime soon.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Well, that's to the commission, so we can look at that, Marianne. It makes sense, it makes sense. So any other questions?
Mr. Chair,
Well,
it
well,
seems to me.
I want to make sure Marianne is done with her questions.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No, that's no problem, Pete. Marianne, are you done?
Yeah, I think that covers mine. Thank you.
Okay, we'll come back if you need to. Go ahead, Pete.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, it seems like perhaps we're putting the cart before the horse here a little bit. I mean, we're talking about ending this thing and passing this resolution, and yet we continue on and there is potential litigation and so forth. And I'm just wondering, what's the urgency of passing this thing today, now? It's been going on, as Marianne says, since 2016, and we've had it for, I don't know, 7 months or so. It was my understanding that we were going to have a closed session and have an opportunity to discuss this finalization with our counsel before this came back up again. Now, maybe I'm wrong about that, but I don't think I am. And yet now we're faced with either passing or not passing this resolution. And it seems to me it's a little early to be doing that. Now, that's my view, and I could well be in the minority, but I thought I'd point that out.
Okay. Any other commissions? Before we,
Mr. Chair,
go ahead, Steve.
just to follow up on Mary Ann's comment on trying to match the administrative funds with the legal funds, that makes absolute sense because we may be paying the attorneys the 300,000 plus, but we'll still incur staff time. So matching those two, it makes absolute perfect sense.
Okay, anyone else?
Mayor Oglesby?
Yes, go ahead, Supervisor.
This is a rare occasion where an entity that was created by legislation by the late Henry Mello in 1994, and here we are about to consider taking a final action. The resolution does acknowledge the legislature recognized the dissolution of Fora as of December 31st, 2020. what happens after we take a vote on this? What effect does that have as an entity? Is this like the final vote where after LAFCO approves this resolution, FORA is now dissolved as a legal entity? Or is there other steps that still need to take place after today?
Clearly a question for our attorney, so.
Supervisor Alejo, per the FORA Act, FORA is already dissolved, is no longer a legal entity. And per the FORA Act, the entire FORA Act has been repealed. It's no longer on the books. So LAFCO's interpreted what its mandate was in the FORA Act, even though it no longer exists. And what we are doing through this continuation of this public hearing is wrapping up loose ends and attempting to memorialize what exactly has taken place with the dissolution of FORA. If the commissioners are of the opinion that there are still too many loose ends, we could certainly continue again if that's the will of the commission. But I think staff felt that we were to a point where we were there, but obviously that's why we're here today and we're discussing this.
Thank you.
And I don't know if you have anything to add on that, Kate.
No, I agree with what Kelly has said. The commission certainly does have the option of continuing the hearing for more months. I guess at this point, it'd be almost like tabling it and bringing it back perhaps when all litigation is over. That could be as much as a year away from now. But that's fine. In terms of matching the administrative funds to the legal funds, certainly that sounds very practical, and we don't have any concern with that concept at all. And that's nothing that needs to be written into the resolution, really. That's just, these were just guidelines that we are trying to establish for our own administrative purposes. But the point is that LAFCO staff is going to continue to watch the various issues that come through, but by and large, we're very pleased with the work that our local agencies have taken on as successor agencies, and even as not true successors, but just taken on many responsibilities that had been performed by FORA. And a lot of litigation that we thought may come to bear. A year ago, we were concerned about 6 or 8 different potential threats of litigation, and most of those have not occurred. And much of that is because between FORA, the county, our cities, and other parties, matters have gotten resolved. So,
That's great here.
Thank you.
Ms. McKenna, so is there a benefit, actual benefit by holding off and waiting for litigation and seeing where we're at in a year and a half? Is there an actual benefit to delaying today's action? In your
I think if the commission is most comfortable doing that, that's fine. LAFCO wasn't even, this is our interpretation of the state law, and we were not even fully required to have a public hearing on this matter, let alone prepare a resolution that memorializes the history of FORA and its dissolution. So the commission has options available to it, and we're very open to your collective thoughts today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, may I ask one more question?
Yes, of course.
All right, I'd like to ask this of our attorney. Is there a downside that you can think of for us closing out and passing this resolution? I mean, I just kind of have a feeling there might be one, and I'm wondering what your opinion is.
No, I think I tend to agree with you a little bit. The downside is any last minute items that would come to bear later. Mr. Farah reached out to Jonathan late in the day Friday. We had a brief meeting with him this afternoon at 2. We could look into that issue a little bit more to make sure the parties are comfortable. it might be nice if a county representative could attend the LAFCO commission hearing when we are hearing the resolution, because I know the county's dealt with various administrative items and they've coordinated with LAFCO, but it might be nice to hear directly from the county with regard to the audit and any other kind of last minute items that the county is still dealing with. So in that regard, I guess that would be my opinion. Maybe wait a few months and see where we are.
All right, thank you.
Where in my video? Let me see if I can flesh out my thinking on this before we go to public or any more comments from commissioners. I'm trying to see what would be the downside of passing this today. Like Kate said, the administrative fees and the lawyer's fees should be in pace with each other. So I have no problems with keeping that money for a while until we know we don't need it. But keeping this document open, this resolution, this public hearing open, after she said it's a open hearing, a resolution that we're not required to have. And so every time we come to discuss it, every time we have it on our books about we have not closed this thing down, we have not accepted the dissolution of our responsibilities as it relates to the dissolution of FORA, this open document, this resolution allows people to keep coming before us saying that something has not been done right. And then we ask ourselves, where's the legal fees coming from? But if it's a document that we wasn't required to furnish, it's just something we wanted to do internally, transparently, then I think it hurts us to keep it open. But I think we get a benefit from saying we've done the best we can, and we feel that FORA is no longer on the books, right? So we feel that we have done the best we can. So I want the commission to think about that. What have we opened ourselves up to if we continue to hold this document open? Ergo, we're saying the public, come ask us about any issues you may have, whether it's between you and the county or you and Delray Oaks, which we don't have any jurisdiction for, particularly 6 months, 10 months from now, a year from now. So I just asked the commissioners to think about that. Any other commissioners? We'll take it out to the public. I've seen a couple hands from the public. So the public comments are now open. Gail, if you can allow the public to weigh in.
Jonathan.
Yep. Okay, I asked City Attorney Sherry Damon to unmute.
Yes, thank you. Chair Oglesby, members of the board. My comment today relates to two items, or three items, I guess. One is the late surfacing suggested revision to the whereas clause. I cannot recommend that. I think it's inconsistent with LAFCO's charge. So LAFCO's position early on was that it drew authority to act on the transition plan through the FORA Act, which we heard has been repealed. And this whereas expands the agreement with the county to include the transition plan. So if you are intending to adopt something today, my request is that you delete everything with respect to the transition plan and refer only to the contractual language in the document, because at the end of the day, the only documents that you're responsible for are ensuring that the contractual documents are out there. Additionally, I don't know if we have a list of the contractual documents, but it seems like that's where, if you're going to focus any energy, it should be focused on ensuring that the contracts have been discovered and addressed, as opposed to litigation. The litigation is kind of a separate thing. So it's one thing to control over the $300,000 in the LAFCO coffer to address that, because I think you are designated in the transition plan, unfortunately or fortunately, as one of those key holders of that. But at the end of the day, the underlying jurisdictions are starting to step to the plate. The decision that Seaside just received actually has some bearing on this. It does interpret what happens to certain types of FORA actions after dissolution and after repeal. So the case law is starting to evolve that unless it was in the enabling legislation, not the transition plan, but the enabling resolution, you can't pass on through the transition plan an obligation which didn't exist or doesn't exist now. And on that basis, the court found that a cause of action requiring a review of a consistency determination moot. And it was very much in favor of Seaside and the project of Campus Town. But it does have some bearing on this action that you're considering today. So my request is focus only on the existing contracts. And if you want to continue to get that, I would suggest that's not necessarily a bad idea. Thank you.
Anyone else? Any other public comment? Gail, you have anybody?
Jonathan?
I'm sorry.
See any- No, I don't see any public comment.
Okay, let me know when you don't have anybody.
Yes.
Okay, so public comment remains open. Seeing here no one else, public comment is closed. Bringing it back to the commission. What is the will of the commission? What are your thoughts? What do you want to do?
I'm looking
Mayor-
for closure on Forest, so I'd like to move staff's recommendation and see where we go.
We heard, we need a second, but I heard Mary Ann. Mary Ann, did you?
Well, I was just going to ask our attorney to address Ms. Damon's comments on the whereas, the change in the whereas that came in late today.
I've been in numerous meetings with counsel for Seaside Marina in the county of Monterey, and there's been a lot of back and forth on what Ms. Damon was going into. And because this change was just sent to us the end of last week, I would be more comfortable speaking with all of those attorneys again and reaching a whereas clause that everyone's comfortable with, so that there's agreement and we're not memorializing something that half agree with and half don't, or one doesn't agree with. And I know some of the commissioners want to just get this over with, but I would be much more comfortable putting a document forth that everyone has agreed on and that properly memorializes what's happened. And as far as Ms. Damon speaking about I read the order, it was sent to me again, I think Monday or this morning, I can't remember. And it was over a demur, and I'd like to have more time with that. The demur was sustained in favor of Seaside, but again, for her point about the mootness and the transition plan, I'd like to look into that more because it was just sent to me and I haven't had much time with it.
My motion and move forward with Kelly's recommendation.
Recommendation to continue this open hearing.
Yes.
I'll second that. This is Lopez.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that, Commissioner Gorley and Supervisor Lopez. Let's take it out to, it's been probably moved to second. We'll go out to public comment. Public comment is open. Jonathan, you see anybody?
No hands are raised.
Thank you so much. Seeing no one, hearing no one, public comment is now closed. Back to the commissioner. I got one or 2 points. I guess I got a question, and that's why I asked the point about did anyone else, did staff receive any other comments from anyone other than county? And so I'm pretty, well, let me just be clear. I'm not sure why we included the county's recommendation without a full understanding of what's going on. It's too late in the game for any entity to send anything to this commission and it be included as the resolution other than an option to the resolution. And I think it's important that we all, land use jurisdiction and the rest of us on this commission, allow the land use jurisdictions to work this thing out as they feel comfortable and end it there. That's the first thing. And then I want to make sure, Commissioner Portress, I put on the agenda that we will have a period of closed session to talk about this prior to our next deliberation of this item. So you guys can get some of your thoughts out the way, and I see the attorney shaking her head.
All right, thank you. I think that's wise.
Oh, yes, no problem at all. Okay, so it's been probably moved to second, on the question, no question, roll call vote. Was to keep the public hearing open, and we'll set it for another date. All right.
Aye.
Well,
Commissioner Alejo,
Aye.
Commissioner Craig,
Yes.
Commissioner Gorley,
Yes.
Commissioner Leffel,
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Oglesby,
aye.
and Commissioner Poitras.
Yes.
All ayes.
Thank you. And I'll also add to that request that the attorney looks to the question about, should we close it off that day or extend it for that year term? If you could just, think about that. Answer that question for us when we meet again.
Okay, will do.
Okay, thank you. We're moving along. We're to the executive officer's communication. Executive Officer McKenna, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Chair Oglesby. In agenda item number 12, we have a memo that provides information about assistance, informal assistance that LAFCO staff is providing now to Soledad area agencies and to 2 of our special districts in North Monterey County. We also provide an update there about the election of our own commissioners Leffel and Poitras to leadership positions on the Special Districts Association of Monterey County. I have one additional comment related to the Special Districts Association, and that is to note for you that we have been informed of the recent passing of Mr. Ben Post. Ben was a member and president of the Monterey Peninsula Regional Park District. And he was also instrumental in providing leadership about 10 to 15 years ago on the Special Districts Association. So I want to acknowledge some of his contributions here in Monterey County. Thank you. That completes my report.
Thank you so much. We'll go to item number 12, communication. 12A, informal review potential service delivery option of local agency in Monterey County and the Soledad area.
No additional items. Thank you.
Okay. All right. You did your communication. I'm sorry. Any reports or comments from the commissioners?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Poitras here. I believe it is incumbent on me to announce publicly that I had a conversation with Anthony Lombardo, the attorney representing CalAm, on a matter that will become before us sooner or later. Catherine Stedman was also on the call. It occurred Wednesday, January 20th from 10 a.m. to 10:28 a.m. Mr. Lombardo talked and I listened. And I just want it publicly known that that conversation was had.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay.
Mr. Chair, this is Lopez.
Yes, sir.
Just wanted to share with the commission, obviously I'm proud to represent you at the on the LAFCO board, and appointments were made. I am an alternate on the legislative committee, and we are seeing the first round of bills come through from the state. And I'll just say that overall the focus this year is on transparency and fire safety. Some of those have major implications. Encourage you all in your different boards and commissions that bring you here to LAFCO to keep an eye on those as they move. One of the key ones is really about jurisdiction over decisions in high fire zones for future development. That led to a long conversation amongst the LAFCO legislative committee, and the other was around meeting transparency laws. And with everything we're experiencing now, like this meeting via Zoom, there's a push to make more of this the norm moving forward for public access. And also there's several bills on the table pushing for translation services as well as closed captioning to make it more accessible for the public, which is obviously something I've been pushing and have I found some success with locally. And so just encourage you all to get involved in those conversations as they come up. Thank you for the opportunity.
Well, thank you for your service, and they picked the right man to advocate for us and advocate for them as an entity. So thank you for your service there. We know you volunteered and it's more work, so we appreciate you. I would just also say I want to welcome our 3 new commissioners. It's a lot of work in front of you, but I know you're up to the task. So, and then Kay was telling me about this, you know, I think we have more females on the commission than we ever had before. And the first thing I told her is now we're going to be able to get some work done, right? So, you know, welcome aboard, right? I need to make sure you guys don't hit me. So
Historic.
anyone else?
It's historic.
Right, historic. There you go. Thank you. I knew, Luis, I knew you would get what I was saying. We're so proud to be moving the community forward, and you ladies, and I mean that respectfully, are just doing the work. And so now you're here, and I'm proud to be serving with you. If there's no other comments, we will move to adjournment. Who calls for adjournment?
I'll move for adjournment.
Second.
So probably move to second. We will adjourn into our next meeting, which is March 22nd, 2021, 4 p.m. Zoom. Thank you so much. Be safe, wear your mask, keep social distancing, wash your hands, get your vaccination if you can.
Good night, all.
Good night. Thank you.